for a little bit here today. I'm not sure exactly how long we're going to be going live for, but we're just going to be chilling out. We're going to be talking about this photo a little bit. This is a recent photo of Andrew Lincoln and Scott Gimple. They were spotted together. As you guys know, I've made a couple videos talking about it now, but I just wanted to touch on it a little bit further because it is very exciting, man. Like we are entering this stage with The Walking Dead now where, it's kind of like everything they do is so important because this story has already been built up for so many years and there's already been so much hype and so much excitement around this franchise for so long. It's kind of at the point now where everything that they do needs to be really big and really well thought out and really exciting. And, to have these guys back together again, obviously talking about, stuff to do with Rick Grimes and the future of the universe and everything like that. I mean, it's a great sign. It's a great sign. It's actually really nostalgic just to see, Andrew Lincoln and Scott Gimple together. It's very nostalgic and it's very awesome because it kind of does take me back to a better time, where The Walking Dead was in a better spot. And, when you have these little glimpses of hope, like The Ones Who Live, where it kind of takes you back almost to the old days to where things were a little bit better, it really makes you wonder and question if we can reach that height again. You know what I mean? If we can reach that same level. Because obviously in The Ones Who Live, if you take the quality that show produced and and then you think about it, like, just hypothetically, if Daryl, Maggie, and Negan and everyone was back together in a show like that, right? Like with that type of quality and just a great story, right? If you think about that, if everyone was back together again, um, it's like, could we have something great again? You know what I mean? Um, and it's definitely something that's been on my mind a lot ever since I've seen this picture right here. Ever since I've seen this photo, it's really been on my mind just a lot because I've kind of been sitting here thinking, well, what if it is something just very short lived? What if they want to bring back Rick and have, a 2 season thing or a 1 season thing, Um, the only thing that makes me really believe, well, not the only thing, there's multiple reasons why I believe that's not going to happen. But one of the main reasons why I believe it's not just going to be a little quick cameo appearance for Rick is because, in my opinion, if it was going to be that, I think they would have just done The Ones Who Live at a different time and practically wrapped it up where Daryl is already back home with Carol, and then at the very end of The Ones Who Live, Rick would have gone back and reunited with Daryl. And then, like, that could have been the official ending of, like, Rick Grimes and The Walking Dead. I think that makes more sense. But I mean, seeing these guys together, this picture right here is bringing back like so much excitement and so much like hope for me as a fan, Because the thing is, like, I would like to see The Walking Dead get back to what it used to be. I mean, I really would. I truthfully love The Walking Dead with my whole heart. I think it's a great show. I mean, I have pretty much all the main cast autograph. I have some comic issues and stuff like that. I mean, I have a lot of really cool things, about The Walking Dead, man. I love this franchise, and I really think that this is a point in time where Scott Gimple, as the chief content officer, I really think that he needs to listen to the fans here because I believe wholeheartedly that us fans, the people that watch The Walking Dead currently are what you would consider diehard fans. We've been watching for a long time. Of course, there's people coming into the series, right now. Oh, they saw it on Netflix and watched it and loved it, right? Of course, that's happening. But yo, what's up, Michael? Rick Grimes is my favorite TV movie character. Yeah, I mean he's insane. He's a great character. I mean, like, Rick Grimes is like an all-time great character in fiction. I mean, for sure, 100%. He's incredible. He's incredible, man. Um, But what I was saying is, if they can bring back something great, man, and just give us like 5 more seasons, of just something awesome, I think that would be a great ending. I think the people that are still into The Walking Dead now are diehard fans. So if you have diehard fans, I think you should listen to what the fans want. And a lot of people are saying that they want the show to come back. Excuse me, I was yawning. A lot of people are saying they want the show to come back on more of a full-time level. We want like, longer seasons, 12 to 16 episodes again. We want everyone back. And obviously, if the cast is not down to do that, then that's a whole different story, right? But I mean, we know that there's more story to tell for sure. There definitely is more story to tell. And I mean, in the end, nobody really knows what the future is going to hold. I think that's the sad part just about uncertainty in life, when you kind of are like, well, what's going to happen next? What's going on? What happened and what's going on? But, in the end, The Walking Dead has been a really fun show. It's been a really fun part of my life. I'm 25 years old. I've been watching The Walking Dead since I was around like 11, and I've had a ton of fun with this franchise. Um, I've had a lot of fun with like, catching up with the fans, like grow my Instagram page that I no longer have access to because I changed my phone number and Instagram's account recovery process is horrible. But like I grew my Instagram page to, 8,000 followers, I know it's not like a ton, but it was fun to interact with people. And, we're still growing the YouTube channel now, the YouTube channel right now is actually currently doing pretty good. We're growing at a decent rate. And I mean, yeah, everyone being here and supporting me has been a fun time. It's been a really, really great experience overall. So, I mean, I just don't want it to end. I want more stuff to be able to cover, for you guys. I want to be able to make more videos and talk about things more, I don't want it to all end, I want it to keep going so I can continue to make videos and just continue to meet new cool people and have great experiences and more importantly, just have more fun memories of The Walking Dead, I want to have more good times with these characters before they really do get too old. Because that's the thing, right? The reason why you need to strike now, you got to strike while the iron's hot, because like The Ones Who Live was a pretty big success. We all know that. Like Daryl Dixon, season 3 was pretty good. There's been a lot of successful stuff going on in the Walking Dead universe, and you got to strike while the iron's hot, man, because, interest is not going to always be there with certain things. And I think, obviously, right now, there's a lot of hype around Rick Grimes coming back. So I think you got to do it, man. You got to strike now. And honestly, when you really look at it, when you really think about it, just realistically, these characters or these actors are getting older. You know what I mean? It's just the truth. It's not, it's not saying that they're necessarily like at the end of their acting careers because, some of them are not. But when you really think about like the future of The Walking Dead, if you think Rick Grimes is the future of The Walking Dead, well, I mean, Andrew Lincoln's 52 years old. That's not necessarily a young man, I mean, obviously at 52, he can still play Rick and still play Rick at a very great level. And he could still, perform, obviously. And he still has years left. But what I'm saying is if it's so stretched out, if it's little increments, a show here, a show here, a show here, time's ticking, man. Imagine if it's like The Ones Who Live kind of, right? Like what if we get like a new season every 2 years or something, right? Of like a new Rick show, I mean, gosh, it's going to be, just a couple of seasons and Andrew Lincoln's going to be 58 years old, So it's like, I think we need to get something rolling again that's coming out yearly, right? Every single October, just like the old days. Give the fans something to look forward to. Give us like 5 seasons, man, of just great Walking Dead content, and then boom, you can hang it up and call it. Maybe then we enter the cameo phase, all that stuff. Everything like that. Yo, I might butcher your name. I apologize in advance. Elham Jashari. Not bad guy. Appreciate you. Appreciate you for being here, man. But a lot of people are really wanting, more of a full-time, comeback. Um, and I agree. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But I think that there's a lot of really exciting things that could be happening. So, I mean, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. I don't know. But I think this meeting right here is definitely the spark of some really great things because I've never really lost faith in Scott Gimple. I know that there's a lot of controversy with Scott Gimple as a chief content officer, and there's a lot of people out there who believe that he's really bad and he's actually to blame for the downfall of The Walking Dead. But I disagree. I think that The Walking Dead rose to the greatest heights and broke records on TV and became a freaking world phenomenon because of Scott Gimple's leadership and because of Scott Gimple's ideas, and the way that he ran the show. I think he did a really good job. I think that there's some of like the best dialogue and some of the best writing that The Walking Dead has ever seen was under Scott Gimple's like leadership, and underneath him as a showrunner. It's really easy to sit back and blame Scott Gimple, but honestly, I think Scott Gimple did a great job. How many episodes will Dead City season 3 have? I hope at least 8 to 10. Um, yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I'm not the biggest Dead City fan. I don't know why. I can't really put my finger on it, but I never really, even Dead City season 2, like it just seems, I don't know. I don't like the characters. I don't like the whole Marshall thing. I don't know. The new Babylon Marshals or whatever. It's just like, I don't know. I don't like the Croat. I don't like the other girl. I feel like they could have done something. Like I think the whole Maggie and Negan spinoff thing was kind of a blunder. I think they kind of screwed that up because I feel like Maggie and Negan together really could have felt super epic and awesome. And personally, for me, and from what I've heard, a lot of people in the fandom as well think that like Dead City is like the weakest spinoff. From most of the comments I read on other Walking Dead channels that are more popular than mine, and just some of the overall feedback based on like reviews and critic reviews, and even like I said in the fandom, a lot of people seem to think that Dead City is the weakest spinoff, which I would agree with, to be fair, just being completely transparent. I definitely think Daryl Dixon season 3 was really fun. Dead City season 1 was mid. I think Dead City season 2 was mid as well, to be honest. I just couldn't get into it. It never grabbed my interest and made me want to watch it more. It was interesting at first. Like I will say I think Dead City season 1 was more interesting than Dead City season 2 because it was the first spinoff. Dead City was the first spinoff since The Walking Dead concluded. And if you think about it that way, it was just something new. It was like, well, this is the new era of The Walking Dead. As a fan, I have to check this out, right? You know what I mean? So that's kind of what like my mentality going into that was like that. I was like, well, this is the new era of The Walking Dead, so like I need to check this out. I have to see what's going on with these characters, right? And then like when I was watching it, it just never grabbed me. But I mean, I don't know. I hope that Dead City season 3 is better because like I'm gonna watch it just like I watched Dead City season 2, and actually I'm gonna go back and rewatch Dead City season 2 here soon because I watched it kind of half-hearted. I kind of watched it just like half-heartedly. I wasn't really into it, and now since Daryl Dixon concluded and there's really no Walking Dead stuff on TV, and there's nothing even really announced as of right now. We just know that there's going to be a Dead City season 3 next year, probably, and Daryl Dixon season 4 next year. But since there's really nothing going on currently, I'm going to go back and rewatch Dead City season 2. And I might actually just rewatch Dead City season 1 and Dead City season 2 just back to back, just to kind of like maybe try to immerse myself more into the whole fiction of the story. Into that world, into that whole New York, Manhattan thing. I don't know. I couldn't ever grab it. I could never get into it, man. It never grabbed me. I don't know. But I hope maybe upon a rewatch, maybe since right now there's nothing going on in The Walking Dead, maybe I'll have more interest in it. We'll have to wait and see. But, I mean, yeah, I hope it's good. I really do. I hope that Dead City season 3 is really great because, I mean, I don't want The Walking Dead at this stage to be, we need to be producing great things. man. I mean, I don't know. I believe that Dead City can be great. I just don't know. I just don't know. You know, we'll have to wait and see. But I just never really got into it. I hear Rick Grimes. I'm tuned in always. Yeah, hey man. Well, welcome to the stream. I agree with you 100%. I'm with you. I think that Rick Grimes is a very crucial character right now. I think he's really important. So I'm right there. If I hear Rick's name, I'm just like, oh, what's going on? What's happening? What's going on? Something big happening? But there's obviously something big brewing up. You know, I really do hope it's not going to be underwhelming, whatever they choose to do. Yo, what's up, Movie Edits? How you doing, man? Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing good on this beautiful Wednesday. As a major fan of the universe, Dead City is Fear the Walking Dead season 7 level of bad writing. I'm good. That's great to hear. It's great to hear, Movie. Archive says, yep, I feel like just hearing his name brings back a lot of heart. Oh, for sure. It does. It really does. I mean, Rick's a very important character. And, you know, having him involved in the universe is very important. It's very crucial to the success of the show because, I mean, the spinoffs are fun, but we're all kind of just left asking the same question, right? Every single time that a spinoff is announced or a spinoff is concluded, you know, everything that happens, we're kind of just like, well, how does this intertwine in with the, you know, original story? How does this, you know, how are we getting back to Rick? How are we getting back to Michonne and Judith? Because at the core of the Walking Dead fan base, I think that's what everyone wants to see again. I think everyone wants to see Rick, Michonne, Judith, and Daryl, and Maggie, and Negan, and Carol all back together in a show. You know, you don't really have to have this huge cast like you did back in the day. If the money could be a problem, whatever, you know, which I don't really think it would be, but if it was an issue, you don't have to bring back all these crazy characters. Like, if people never saw Eugene again or Father Gabriel or whatever, I don't really think they're going to care that much. They could bring in other characters to kind of replace them. Like, they're cool characters and they played big, you know, important roles back in the day. But really, as long as you have Rick, if you have Rick and Daryl, I'm pretty sure it's going to be successful. That's really all you need. You really don't even need anybody else. But obviously, Michonne, Judith, RJ, Daryl, you know, Carol, Negan, everybody, you know, needs to be back together. So, I mean, it could be really great. I don't know. I just hope that whatever this meeting right here that you're seeing, this is a recent picture, just like a couple days ago, of Andrew Lincoln. He looks great, you know. For 52, Andrew Lincoln looks really great, man. Definitely taking care of himself, which is great because we need more, man. I really do. I believe that we need more. Yeah, what's up, Sage? Hope you're doing good. Good to see you. We need Rick Grimes. Yeah, absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely we do. I mean, it's exciting to think about, for sure. Right, it would be the found family reunion we've all been waiting on, for sure. I mean, it's going to happen. We know it's going to happen. There's no debate whether or not it's going to happen. It will happen. It's just a matter of when. And when you think about it from that perspective, you know, there's all these other spinoffs happening right now. And, you know, in a way, I kind of wonder in Gimple's mind, you know, were these spinoffs practically just, you know, buying Andrew Lincoln time to regroup for a new, you know, show or something. You know what I mean? Maybe he talked to Andrew Lincoln before all this stuff and said, hey, like, we want your character to come back, but, you know, I know you need some time with your family and everything like that. Like, could you, you know, take a couple years off, right? And then can we get back to what we were doing? You know, can we get back to more of a regular filming schedule? You know, can we bring Rick back for more consistency, right? Like, that could be a thing. I even had an idea where what if they filmed like in the UK, which would be very difficult, I think, for them to do. But I think like at this point, I think Scott Gimple is probably just going to be like, at Andrew Lincoln's mercy, like, hey, dude, like, I'm willing to do whatever, I'm willing to do whatever to get you back in this, franchise more full time, right? Let me read some of these comments here. Um, I think there could be a show where Rick goes looking for Daryl, so like the roles reverses, and we have a whole story with them trying to find him. I don't think so. The only reason why is because if they made a show strictly about Rick just going to find Daryl, the only problem with that is it's just like it's the rinse and repeat thing at an even higher level. And people are just gonna sit there and think like, holy crap, they are milking this storyline way too hard. I'm like 99.9% confident the next time that you see Rick, it's gonna be a Daryl and Rick reunion, or it's gonna be Rick in his own spinoff that's gonna lead into the Daryl reunion, right? Um, like there could be something where, there's the Rick show, and then maybe somehow it intertwines in with the Daryl Dixon ending. Now that would be if they were to like get this Rick Grimes story like filming next year, right? Like it would have to be something that they did like very quickly, and maybe that's why Scott Gimple is meeting up with Andrew Lincoln, saying, "Hey, like I have this idea. Would you be ready to film maybe sometime in March or February, right? Like that's still some time away. Like he could definitely have time to get ready for that, right? Like he's probably just checking schedules, trying to figure that out. But he could say, "Hey, I have this idea where I want the stories to intertwine. I need to know, can we film? Would you be down to come back as Rick? I have this idea. Let me run it by you, whatever. Come back, film in February or March, and then we release it, October of next year, right? Like that could totally happen for sure. People forget that they used to film The Walking Dead every year, man. Like 16 episode long stories, a lot of filming, a lot of crazy stuff. I mean, if they really wanted to bring Rick back next year, they could for sure, especially with the money that they're going to be offering Andrew Lincoln to do the part. I mean, it's going to be a big deal. And the thing about Scott Gimple and Andrew Lincoln is like they're actually pretty like good friends from what I've heard. They're actually very friendly with one another. And obviously they text and call and have communication, and Andrew Lincoln has insisted and talked many many times about how he regretted leaving The Walking Dead and how he missed putting on the boots and being Rick Grimes. So the Ones Who Live was maybe his reintroduction, and maybe now we're getting ready to see the continuation. But I don't know. I don't really believe that Rick going to find Daryl would be a good story, because it's kind of like we're all just going to find people, right? Like, Carol went to find Daryl, and Daryl went initially to find Rick, and then Carol went to find Daryl, and now they're trying to get back home, and then Rick's gonna come try to find them. It's like we're all just trying to find people, when really we just need Daryl and Carol to get their butts back home, and then we're good to go, right? So, the thought makes me giddy. Yeah, no, I mean, the thought of Rick being back makes me super excited as well, Sage, for sure. One of the best episodes of The Walking Dead is when Rick and Daryl meet Jesus. You're right, Rick and Daryl equals success. Yeah, what was that, season 6, episode 10? Pretty sure. Titled The New World, right? Is that what that one's called? Or The Next World? I think it's The New World. I'm not sure. Or no, maybe it's New, no, that's not, yeah. I'm pretty sure it's season 6, episode 10. I don't know if the title is correct, but I might be right. Kind of a nerd like that, and I have a pretty good memory with things. I think I'll watch The Ones Who Live again. Yeah, I mean, Sage, you should. It's a good rewatch. I've like just kind of periodically turn it on in the background, Sometimes I'll just like be chilling in bed with like my girlfriend, and we just I'll turn it on, and I'll just watch it, you know what I mean? So it's interesting. It's a great show for sure. Can't explain how excited I was to see Rick. Yeah, no, I mean, dude, hearing Rick's voice after that long was incredible. Giga Gamer says there is no new Walking Dead Telltale, We have debunked this rumor time and time again. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not going to lie. I don't think anybody said anything about a new Walking Dead Telltale. I'm not going to lie. Pretty sure, unless I'm tweaking out, nobody in chat has mentioned Telltale. I've never mentioned Telltale on this stream. So, yeah, I don't know what this kid's talking about. This guy's tweaking, guys. But, yeah, watching The Ones Who Live again is always a great idea. And really, when you watch The Ones Who Live again, it really makes you realize that there's a lot of potential still, for sure. It totally brings back that feeling of excitement, right? Because you're kind of thinking, wow, imagine if they could do something like this, but with everyone back together again. Like, you know, let's get the old band back together and make a banger of a show for like 5 more years, and then they can all retire and call it a career, you know? Like, right off into the sunset, you know what I mean? But I definitely think that we need more storytelling for sure. Because a lot of the fans are still interested. The reality is, you can say whatever you want to say about The Walking Dead's viewership in the United States dwindling down, which it has, which obviously means that there's been a decline in popularity and a decline in interest. Obviously. Yeah, the searching for the OG crew needs to end. Get them back together and have them fight one big final villain. Yeah, I mean, it needs to be something like either like just getting them back and kind of just having them survive again, like Andrew Lincoln's talked about, or it needs to be like, yeah, them fighting one big final villain for sure. But that's kind of the question, right? Like, what would the new story be, right? Like, what could happen that hasn't already happened that would pique people's interest enough to keep watching or potentially grow the show without just milking the OG fans, right? Like, so practically, I think what Scott Gimple and Andrew Lincoln and everybody wants to do is have like a great original story, right? Obviously, they're, you know, the comics ended and they're not really going off the comic material anymore, but there needs to be great original storytelling here, which obviously they can do, but we've crossed so many through the 177 episodes of the Walking Dead original series. We have crossed so many things off the freaking chart. Like, we have crossed off so many storylines and so many interesting things. You know, we've been over the cannibalism. We've been over, you know, the people from inside the group trying to turn bad and take over the group. You know, we've done all the, you know, people getting, you know, exiled, and, you know what I mean, we've done all this stuff, right? Which there's been so much to it, you know, where the group was just kind of surviving. Like, the group's kind of been just surviving from, you know, pretty much, I mean, the whole time, obviously, but when they got to Alexandria, you know, in season 5 to all the way to the end, it was kind of the same thing, right? Like, from one villain to the next, living at Alexandria, surviving, discovering the Commonwealth, all that stuff, right? So it's like that storyline's kind of been happening for like the last 10 years in the Walking Dead universe. But would I be against seeing that again? No. Who would the new villain, or who could be the new villain? Any ideas? No ideas. I mean, there's just anything they can make any villain, but that's the thing, right? Like, it needs to be a good villain. Because, like, what is the show gonna be? Obviously, it has to be a villain. There has to be a reason why they're coming back together, you know, rather than just a reunion, right? I mean, maybe the meeting last night, or not last night, you know, a couple days ago. What if Andrew was like, I'm kind of over The Walking Dead. I'm kind of over Rick, and I kind of want to just have the reunion with Daryl, and then, like, let's end this and have a happy ever after, right? Like, what if that was what Andrew was saying, which would hurt me to, you know, admit if that was what was happening. But, I mean, what if Andrew's kind of like, eh? But I don't have any ideas for a new villain. Who was your favorite villain in the Walking Dead series? Ooh, man. I actually just rewatched the whole entire Walking Dead series with my girlfriend, who's never seen it. So it was her first time watching. We watched from season 1, episode 1, all the way to season 11, episode 24. The entire thing. Over a span of around 3 months, we finished it. Maybe 4, maybe longer. It might have been 5 months. But it was a great time. But honestly, my favorite villain, it's hard because like I don't really look at Negan like a villain anymore. But he was, right? Like you can't say that Negan wasn't a villain. They were all trying to kill him for like 2 seasons. He definitely was a villain. So like I could say him, but there's been so many great villains in The Walking Dead. I mean, Alpha and Beta were really awesome in season 9. Um, the governor was really great in season 3. You know, um, obviously we had Shane, which I mean, can you consider Shane a villain? I mean, kinda, right? But honestly, I mean, if I have to pick one villain overall, the entire Walking Dead series, um, I'd probably say Negan. I would kind of have to say Negan because Negan had a lot of charisma and he was very watchable. And there was just a lot of intrigue there for me with the Savior storyline. Just, I was really interested in the bigger, larger world of The Walking Dead that we kind of started discovering. Although I don't really think it was, written out the best, or I don't really think it worked out the best in terms of like interest during that time. But in terms of just who was the best villain, um, or my favorite to watch, I guess I could say, I would probably have to say Negan, man. He was really, really fun to watch. He was really awesome. Negan and the Saviors was mine. Yeah, I mean, Michael, I agree, bro. I would have to agree. I think the storyline overall wasn't like the most exciting because I think they kind of did it a little bit wrong. Um, but I think it was really great. Like Negan was awesome. I really enjoyed the governor though, like having Merle there again in the governor in season 3. It was kind of the first time we've really seen like a civilized community of people, right? Um, the farm was really special too, though. The farm was extremely special. I would love to see Rick with a villain arc. I mean, it would be interesting. It would be very interesting. But the only thing is, like, it would just never happen. Like, Rick would never become a villain, you know? Um, he might do things that people disagree with, but it's always to save everyone he loves. Rick is too much of a hero to ever be a villain, you know? It could just never happen. Um, Archive says when they reunite at Terminus, it was satisfying because their separation wasn't dragged out for crazy long like it has been now. We are all over it. Yeah, I mean, it was obviously an entirely different time in the series and in the franchise in the universe. Obviously, it was a way different time. Back then, we were like in the peak of this show. But what's interesting, right? We're kind of all saying the same things we were saying back then. The show is interesting. The Walking Dead is incredible, and what they've built is phenomenal because we're literally saying the same things now that we were saying 10 years ago at the end of seasons. Because like Daryl Dixon just finished, Dead City just finished this year. The Ones Who Live finished like a year and a half ago, right? I mean, when you really think about it, we're all kind of sitting here saying the same things that we said 10 years ago, 8 years ago, after the Walking Dead seasons were ending, right? Well, how long is this going to go? What's next? What's the next storyline going to be? What's going on? How long is this thing going to last, right? We're saying the same things now. So, like, obviously there has to be a lot more story to tell because we're literally saying the same things we were saying back then, right? It's just under different circumstances because of the spinoffs and the way that they've organized the universe now. It's under a different format and structure than it was back then. But we're saying the same things. We're asking the same questions as a fan base. We all want these characters to come back, you know? And when Rick left the Walking Dead original series, nobody was ready for that to be like the last time we really saw Rick. And what I mean by really saw Rick, what I mean by that is actually having him come back full time on a consistent series. I don't really count The Ones Who Live because The Ones Who Live was, as I've said a billion times, It was the reintroduction of the character, right? That's all it was. It was the reintroduction of the character in the universe. It wasn't necessarily a consistent series, a decently long running series with the character or nothing like that. It was a limited series, 1 season special, supposedly. Could be possibly getting a season 2 now. They could do whatever they want, but as of right now, The Ones Who Live was a limited 1 season series with Andrew Lincoln. Yeah, I mean, I just don't really consider that, the same thing as we've seen before. We used to have Rick back all the time, right? It was like season after season after season after season, right? And now it's just different. So, I think we're asking the same questions, and that's a great sign. That means that the fan interest is still there. Therefore, Scott Gimple, if you ever come across this video somehow, bring back The Walking Dead like it used to be. I would love to just ask Scott Gimple some questions. You know what? I would love to. That'd be incredible. Imagine we did a Scott Gimple interview on the channel. Wouldn't that be nuts? That'd be so fun. I might reach out. I've had them email me before, actually. People from AMC. I know I'm not very big, but that would be so fun. I would love to be able to bring you guys some Walking Dead actor interviews. I'm going to try to actually reach out and see if I can make something like that happen. Because I would love to have Father Gabriel on the channel, right? Doing an interview. Wouldn't that be so fun to just be able to sit down and ask Father Gabriel questions? Or, I know obviously some people, would be way too, but I know ways to contact these people. That's the thing. I know ways to get a hold of certain people from The Walking Dead. I've actually DM'd with multiple people from The Walking Dead, actually, which is pretty cool. Mercer. I don't know if you guys remember Mercer in season 11. I've actually talked to him relatively frequently, actually. And he's been very kind and very nice. It'd be so cool to have Mercer on, right? Or who else have I talked to? You guys remember Nat? Nat from The Ones Who Live, right? The guy that went with Michonne on her journey. I've actually DM'd with him a little bit as well. It'd be fun to just talk to some of these characters. Archive says, even seeing them struggle after Terminus, as tough as it was awesome to have them all back together. Absolutely. Having them back together, even when they're struggling, is better than them all being separated, 100%. We need to have them back together. Archive says, those group shots walking down the road. Oh, man, you're talking about a season 5? Yeah. As weak as they were so much stronger together. Yeah, that was peak, bro. You're talking about the peak times. That was a special time in the universe, man. That was an extremely special time in the universe. Michael says, I'm currently watching Fear Season 6 on Roku. Is anyone else currently doing rewatches? I'm not in the middle currently of a rewatch just because I literally just concluded a rewatch of the Walking Dead original series. I've never actually watched Fear, all the way through. I'm pretty sure I stopped after the first season. And the real reason why I never watched some of these Walking Dead shows is because I always said, well, I'll watch them later, right? I'll watch them down the road when there's nothing else on and I'm bored. That's what I always said. Because honestly, rewatching the original series, I never get bored of it. There's something, I'm such a Walking Dead nerd super fan that I can practically rewatch The Walking Dead every single day. I could have The Walking Dead on in the background just for fun. And I'm just having a great time, right? When it gets dark and I'm here by myself sometimes, I will just turn on my Galaxy Starlight projector, which I know sounds nerdy, but it's actually really peaceful. And I'll go take a shower, eat some dinner, whatever, right? Come to bed, clean, put a couple sprays of cologne on so you're smelling super clean and great, even just for yourself. I do it for myself. Turn the Starlight projector on so my whole room just looks like a galaxy with these really cool lights. and just turn on some Walking Dead. And sometimes I'll even be like watching, Twitch or watching, other YouTube streams on my phone while I'm watching The Walking Dead and just having it on the background. It's just like good vibes. And it's just like, it's such a vibe. And that peace, you can't put a price on it, man. It's a very great thing to have that level of peace in your life, or have some sort of routine where you can implement the things you love the most into your life on a regular basis. It will really make you have this level of peace that you've never had. And for me, and the way that I've always been, is that includes The Walking Dead, man. I love The Walking Dead. It's pretty much my all-time favorite fictional story. When you think back to all the movies we've seen and all the TV shows that we've watched and everything, all the video games we've played, although there's some universes, especially on the video game side, I think that would rival The Walking Dead TV show in a direct comparison, I have to give the edge to The Walking Dead, just for the overall effect it's had on my life and how much fun it was growing up with the show. Like I said, I'm 25 now, and I've been watching the show since I was like 10, 11, 12, so pretty much 15, 13 years or so I've been watching the show. So it's been a part of my life for a very long time. So yeah, I mean, over half my life I've been a Walking Dead fan, I mean, it's pretty remarkable when you look at it that way, right? But no, I'm not currently doing any rewatches, although I'm probably going to gear up, since I am currently not rewatching anything and there's really nothing on TV, Walking Dead related. I'm probably going to watch Dead City. I'm probably going to rewatch all the spinoffs, and then that'll probably lead me into Fear the Walking Dead. I want to give Fear a fair shot. I know there's been a lot of, really negative things about Fear the Walking Dead, but I want to give Fear the Walking Dead a shot. I want to give it a chance, without all the bias and all the negative stuff, right? I want to just give it a shot. So I'm going to give Fear the Walking Dead a shot from season 1, episode 1, because I don't even really remember Fear the Walking Dead at all. I know kind of some of the things that happen, just, being part of the fan base. You get told things, through the live streams or, through the video comments, whatever. I've been doing YouTube for like a year and a half now. So, I mean, there's been a lot of comments, about Fear through the years. Latest one I rewatched was Carl getting shot in the eye. Yeah, season 6, episode 9 is a great episode. The Pathogen says Rick Grimes is the only character I will allow myself to fanboy over. I mean, it's not a bad choice, man. If you have to pick a character to fanboy over, it's a pretty good choice if you ask me. I'd say Rick Grimes is a great character to fanboy over. Truly one of the greatest characters in all of fiction ever, I believe. That's another thing too, guys. We're lucky to be alive when we are, because we are experiencing, the constant improvement of technology, of CGI, of, awesome things happening. We got to experience like the old days of The Walking Dead, and now we're getting to experience the new age of The Walking Dead, right? So like, we're actually really lucky to all be alive when we are, and be able to see this and experience this together, because I mean, I was born in 2000, and I practically remember when, like, the first iPhone came out, and when I remember when the Xbox 360 came out, and I remember when Halo 3 came out. I remember all these things that were really awesome. And I also remember, watching The Walking Dead, back in the day, back in season 2, I remember those things. But I'm also here now experiencing Walking Dead spinoffs in 2025 as well. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a blessing to, be able to experience all this. And, we're at that point where we're seeing that constant evolution in technology and all this stuff, Yo, what's good, Viral? Hope you're doing good, buddy. Specifically season 8, Rick. Season 8, Rick, was sick, man. Season 8's an overhated season. Upon my recent rewatch of the Walking Dead original series, I've come to the conclusion that season 8 is actually a good season, which maybe that's an unpopular opinion. But I've come to that conclusion that it's an extremely overhated season and that it's actually pretty awesome. There's a lot of really cool moments in season 8. I like it. I feel like it was just one of those seasons that everyone hated on, or a lot of people hated on, and people just back in the day, bro, you got to realize something. When The Walking Dead was that popular, where they were getting 10 to 15 million live episode or live viewers per episode in the United States, you have to realize something. Like, if there's anything that happens that people don't like, they're just gonna like completely like co-sign and bandwagon, right? It's just the way people were back in the day, man. They're still that way now, just with other shows that are more popular. But you know, for The Walking Dead, that happened, and people just kind of sacroed, to be honest, and were negative, and that negativity really echoed through the fan base, man, a lot. Conlord says, "Do you think Daryl is gonna bite the?" I don't even know what that means, man. I'm not gonna lie, unless I'm just like really tired and not paying attention. I don't even know what you mean, to be honest. The Pathogen says, "I kind of feel like they screwed themselves over because they made a universe for one character, and that character is Rick Grimes. The Walking Dead is Rick Grimes' story. What do you think?" I think The Walking Dead was Rick Grimes' story, and then it kind of evolved through the years into all these other great characters' story as well, right? I think The Walking Dead started with Rick, and it was Rick's story for the entire time he was there, but it was also all these other characters' story as well, right? Everyone played a very pivotal role in The Walking Dead. Do I think Daryl will die in season 4? No. Definitely not. They're going to keep him alive as long as they can because they want to make more shows, make more money, and give the fans more. Because the truth is, whether you like it or not, this is what I try to tell people. So sometimes, you know, I have negative people come by, or I'll have negative people leaving comments, man, like, "Oh my God, The Walking Dead is so dead, man. That show needs to die, blah, blah, blah." It's all, there's all this negativity. And what people don't realize is that The Walking Dead is still one of the most popular shows in the entire world, currently speaking, from a streaming service perspective. On AMC Plus, these spinoffs like The Ones Who Live and Daryl Dixon, they get millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people that watch them, okay? So what people don't realize is there's still a lot of fan interest with The Walking Dead. And yeah, it may not be that global phenomenon that it used to be back in season 5, season 4, season 6, right? It may not be that popular where they're getting 15 million live, viewers. But what a lot of people have to realize is we've completely switched to streaming platforms, and like pretty much like every TV show's viewership in terms of live viewers has gone down. It's just the truth. There's, less people have cable TV now, and less people watch cable TV now. That's just a fact. Do your research on it. There's actually a completely valid explanation as to why The Walking Dead viewership has dropped. Archive says, "A lot of people drop the show when something they don't like happens, but I appreciate that. It makes the universe feel more realistic. You don't always win in real life. Bad shit happens, and you run out of luck." I agree. I mean, I want certain things to happen, but when something bad happens, that I disagree with even, it's kind of like I agree with you. It's kind of like you look at it from a realistic perspective. Guys, if you could do me a favor too real quick and drop a like. If everybody that's in here right now could do me a favor and drop a like on the live, it really helps it be seen by more people. Helps us, show up in more people's home pages, everything like that. So if you guys could just do me a favor and drop a like real quick, it really helps the channel grow. And I like to get as many people in here as possible. Because actually I've been gaining a lot of new subs lately just from doing streams, which is really cool. So I appreciate you guys for helping me out. But yeah, no, I agree, Archive, man. When something bad happens, like it is realistic, and I kind of look at it the same way. And it's like, I may not agree with this, I may not like this, but like it's out of my hands, Conlord says, "Did you think that the train scene in season 3 of Daryl Dixon was going to be bigger than it was?" Not really, because in some of the sneak peeks and just like, I don't know, it wasn't really that big, but it was still kind of bad A at the same time. It was kind of funny how they were like back to back in there. Um, it was a fun scene. I was okay with it. I didn't really think it was going to be this big thing because, when you just look at it, like for example, in The Ones Who Live, when it kind of showed that convoy with Michonne from like the bird's eye perspective, right? And it showed all those people. Like you could say that maybe like we thought some of that stuff was going to be bigger than it was, right? I don't know if you guys remember that some of the trailers in the show in The Ones Who Live, episode 2, that whole freaking convoy of people that Michonne was with. I mean, that played like virtually no role in the show besides giving us, Nat and the black dude with the cowboy hat and the redheaded girl, right? Really didn't play any big role. So I mean, that was more understandable for me to think that way. I think that in that situation, you get what I'm saying? I was like, wow, that was really nothing, but seemed so massive, right? Um, the pathogen says, "Am I in the wrong for just not caring about anything if it hasn't got Rick in it?" No, I mean absolutely not, because the thing about entertainment and thing about, these stories is that it's your perspective that matters the most. So, although I'm not on that same level as you, because I still like Daryl Dixon. To me, I think Daryl Dixon's always been my personal favorite character, right? Um, but, if that's your perspective, if that's how you personally feel, there's nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, you have to watch what you like. And that's what I always tell people. Like what you like and watch what you want to watch. Don't ever let anybody else like peer pressure you or like guilt trip you into feeling a certain way. I mean, it's your life, it's your perspective, it's your prerogative, dude. Watch what you want to watch and enjoy what you want to enjoy, and don't let anybody change your mind. If you only want to watch stuff that has Rick in it, then do that. I know people who are like that, and that's fine. It's up to you. It's your perspective. Whatever you want to do it, right? Don't let anybody change that. So I would say no. I could recommend things and say, well, hey, I think Daryl Dixon season 3 was really awesome. You should check it out. But if someone doesn't want to watch something, don't try to ruin their experience. Let them have their fun and you have yours, right? That's why I've always said, I don't really care about what people say about The Walking Dead. I don't care what people say about The Walking Dead or all the negative stuff I've read through the year and a half I've been doing YouTube. I don't care, because I'm going to have my fun and enjoy what I enjoy, right? When people say they don't like a video game, I'm like, hey, dude, that's fine. I love that, Like, for example, guys, right now, I'm currently a top 250 player on Warzone, Call of Duty ranked. I'm like number 60 in the world, on rank play. And I love Warzone. Yeah, it's filled with cheaters and it's hard to win, but it's very satisfying to me. I have a blast on there from a competitive standpoint. I love that game, And there's people out there that hate Warzone and say it sucks and all this other stuff. And I say, hey, well, if you hate it, don't play it. I love it. I'm going to play it and have fun. I play that game every day with my friends, and we go get competitive, right? I throw in a Jolly Rancher or a piece of gum and get cracked out of my mind and have fun, and I have a blast. So, like, don't let anyone ever take your joy from what you're having fun with. Just enjoy it and like whatever you like. I wasn't trying to ramble on there, but that's a very crucial point for the pathogen to understand. You don't have to like things if you don't like it, and you need to like what you like. Viral Edge says, a lot of people say Daryl season 2 was the worst, but I think it was miles better than Dead City season 2. Yeah, it's actually funny. I think Daryl Dixon season 2 was actually pretty good, to be honest. Maybe that makes me in the rare, but I thought Daryl Dixon season 2 was good. And for sure, Daryl Dixon season 2 was better than Dead City season 2, in my opinion. Dead City season 2 was boring as can be for me. Super boring. I agree 1000%. Conlord says he agrees as well. Daryl Dixon is 100% the best spinoff. And then he puts, I'm a Glazer in parentheses. That's funny. The Pathogen says, on what Rick said, that's what made Game of Thrones so good. Or, I don't know, Archive? Oh, yeah, my bad. On what Archive said, that's what made Game of Thrones so good. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I never watched Game of Thrones, but I've heard a lot about it. But absolutely, I agree with what Archive is saying as well. You know, you can't just drop a show because of something you dislike, right? Viral says that's what I have to think for Carl dying. Like, I hate it. Worst decision they've ever made. But I think in the story, like, that's the world. No one is safe. Yeah. Like, I'm having a hard time reading some of your guys' comments because it lines up perfectly with Andrew Lincoln's shoes and it's white on white and I can't see anything. um, but yeah, no, I agree. I don't necessarily think killing Carl was the worst decision they've ever made, but there's been other decisions they've made in the show that I disagreed with that I thought were really bad choices and really bad decisions. But I just watched it, you know, and I was like, hey, this is the direction they're going. Let's see what happens. Or, oh, well, this character died. That sucks. I'm sad, but like, this is the world. And that's, I don't know if Viral remembers, I had a stream a while back, or I made a video a while back. I can't remember. I made a video as well, but it might have been in a stream where I said something like this as well. I said something very similar. And I think I remember you commenting and saying you agree with me, actually, Viral. But I remember, you know, telling you guys that, you know, Carl dying just kind of proved that even that many years into the apocalypse, that you're never really safe. And you can just be out in the woods and you see someone that needs help, or you guys want to do something or whatever, like they were doing, setting the zombies free from their spirits or whatever weird crap they were doing that Sadiq wanted him to do or whatever, right? And look what happened. It went wrong. It's one of those unpredictable elements of the world. You kind of go in and you're like, wow, this should be an easy cleanup, right? This should be an easy little cleanup zombie kill. And then next thing you know, there's like more than you thought, or one of them is a little bit more rambunctious or aggressive than you thought. And then boom, next thing you know, you're dead. And that is the unpredictability of the universe that makes it very awesome, right? That's what makes it so appealing, that unpredictable element where you're just like, wow, what can happen, right? Something crazy is going to happen when you never saw it coming. And let's be real, that was the reason why Carl dying, I think, was great, was because it was so unpredictable. It was such an off guard thing. Like, it came out of left field so hard. Like, nobody saw that coming, right? Like, we were all just sitting there. We thought Carl was going to be the future of The Walking Dead. And here's the thing. If I told you guys back in, what was that, 2017 when Carl died? It's been almost 10 years since Carl died, guys. If I told you guys back then that Carl was going to die, you would say that there's no way The Walking Dead would still be around 10 years from now, right? There's no way. Everybody would be like, well, there's no future without him. That's what everyone was thinking. But look, here we are, and everything's going okay, you know what I mean? Fans still love the show and love the spinoffs, you know? And it's just part of it. So I agree with both you guys. There's things that are going to happen where you kind of just have to get over it sometimes, right? And it just is what it is. And there's certain elements that make it interesting. Just because it's the obvious choice. He is The Walking Dead. For me, I still tune in out of curiosity for everything, but everything lacks in the heart for me when Rick is not there. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of getting to that point too. I mean, for me, it's Daryl. Daryl's like my Rick, you know what I mean? Because Daryl Dixon's always been my favorite character, and Rick was always my second. But like right now, I think they're tied. Let's see here. Super active chat today. I like this. You guys are locked in. Viral says, I wonder if there would have been more story if it was the movies. The only reason why, are you talking about the Rick movies? The only reason why I don't think so is because I'm pretty sure the way Gimple wrote that out, there's supposed to be 3 movies, right? And there were 6 episodes, and each movie probably was going to be 2 hours. So if you look at it that way, we practically got the 3-movie script throughout 6 one-hour episodes, because it was going to be 6 hours regardless, right? It was going to be 3 2-hour movies, which is 6 hours, right? And then it was going to be, you know, and then it was 6 one-hour episodes, which is 6 hours as well. So I think the story would have been very similar, and the ending probably would have been, I think the story was exactly the same, but just the format changed, you know? The structure changed a little bit. That's what I believe. But it was great. I love The Ones Who Live. I think The Ones Who Live was peak. It has really good reviews. People seem to have loved The Ones Who Live. And I mean, yeah, say what you want about the ending being rushed. Maybe it was, but it wasn't really ever about that. It was just about Rick, man. It was about getting Rick back home, reintroducing him, and that's what it did. You know, that's the point of The Ones Who Live. Whether you know, people think, well, I wanted to know more about the CRM. Well, that's great, but that's not the point of the show. The point of the show is to reintroduce Rick back into the universe and have a landscape where anything can happen and they can do whatever they want to do with that character in the future. And now, look, we're having all these discussions about what's going to happen next. It's just what I was telling you guys the whole time. It's happening. Conlord says, I hope they expand on Daryl's childhood flashbacks in the past in season 4. They may. They may for sure. I'm not sure if they will, but they may. I kind of like it. It's interesting. It's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of cool, you know, to have that element. The Pathogen says, I've tried to watch spinoffs, but I just can't stomach it. Even Dead City with Negan. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just not for me. Yeah, I mean, I get it. You know, Dead City, I think, is not that great, but I love Negan as a character. That's why I always think that, you know, Dead City was like the biggest fumble job that AMC's ever done. Because I think when you think Maggie and Negan together, it should be like bad A and awesome. When overall, I think it's been pretty disappointing, actually. And Negan by himself, like, let me tell you this. Maybe you guys will think I'm wrong for this, but in my opinion, and I really want you guys to tell me if I'm wrong here, for sure. Because like I'm just talking out of my ass. In my honest to God opinion, I think a spinoff with Negan by himself in the woods, going out and trying to find new communities and finding new people and trying to survive and like rebuilding the saviors, right? I think that would have been a better spinoff than Dead City. Am I a psycho? Or am I accurate? Am I right or wrong? I want to know. I think that would be a cooler spinoff. Seriously. Like Negan, like an older Negan, just grungy in the woods, trying to survive, killing animals, finding people, having to kill people, you know, finding new communities, finding buildings to like rebuild stuff, finding his own Lucille, finding a baseball bat, making Lucille again, right? Like all that stuff. I think that stuff would have been cooler and more like, I think it would have felt more like the OG Walking Dead days, like what we all loved, than Dead City. Maybe I'm tripping. Let's see what you guys are saying. It would have, but that would have destroyed Negan's arc. You think so? I don't think anything in Dead City has helped Negan's arc really. I think Negan practically fully redeemed himself in the original series. And in the spinoffs, they could have done anything they wanted with that character, and it would have been awesome. That's my view. Because I feel like he pretty much redeemed himself in the ending of the original series. You know? I mean, Maggie and Negan had that conversation in season 11, episode 24, where she essentially said she forgives him. You know? Let's see, I missed a couple comments up here. Conlord said, people are excited for Rick and Daryl reunion. I'm over here like, how are they going to reunite with Dog? Actor's dead. Well, they'll just get a different German Shepherd, you know, unfortunately. R.I.P. to Seven. That was the dog's name. Seven. R.I.P. to Seven. If you guys didn't know, the dog actor that played Dog, obviously, in The Walking Dead, unfortunately passed away, I think like around a year and a half ago. How long's it been? It's been a long time. I think with The Ones Who Live episode 2 Convoy, their goal is to show why Michonne has so much anger toward the CRM for killing her new friends. But sorry, in my opinion, we didn't get them long enough to tug on our heartstrings. I think with Nat, it worked. But with the other two characters, it didn't. They weren't very likable to me. Median. I remember that guy back when I was in like junior high, right? I remember King Bach back when I was in junior high. So, but yeah, I agree with you for sure, Archive. I mean, the convoy, it was cool cinematically, right? And I think in terms of Michonne's anger towards the CRM, it worked with Nat. Because I think Nat was a great character, actually. The pathogen says, I'll never stop watching something because they make a choice I don't like. Because that is just the story being told. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, if you're watching something, right, and there's something that happens that you disagree with, and you're like, I'm done watching this show. It's kind of like you're kind of being a pansy, right? Like, you're kind of being a little bit of like a wussy, you know? I guess we could say. I'm trying not to, I don't want to swear too much. I don't want to get demonetized. But when you look at it from that perspective, it's kind of like, you know, you're not in control of the story. If you were in control of the story, there would be no surprises. There'd be no interesting elements. There'd be nothing. There'd be nothing exciting because you would know everything that was going to happen, and everything you wanted to happen would happen. It'd be your story, right? There'd be no hyped up awesome moments. It would just be this show where everything went your way, right? And that's not the way storytelling goes in any like fictional universe or world ever. It's never been that way. Even with video games, doesn't matter what the context is. Like, bro, it's never been that way where you get exactly what you want, right? So that's the thing that makes entertainment great, I think, for sure. Archive says, I just wish Rick's reunion with the kids was a bit more dramatic, selfishly. Look, he deserves calmness after all the crap he's been through, but that end just felt a bit flat. As much as I love the ones who live, I don't know. I didn't mind it. I'm trying to think about what you said and think about it from the way that I looked at it as well and figure out if it was flat or if I just love Rick and love The Walking Dead and I'm biased. I mean, I didn't have a problem with it on like the initial watch. The only thing I had a problem with was the RJ kids dialogue. It was a bit flat. That was flat. But maybe RJ's autistic or something, you know? Who knows? That's what I was telling people. Maybe RJ's just autistic and he's a little bit awkward. I mean, it's kind of the thing is, if so, are we just all like haters towards RJ? Because think about it. Let's say RJ is autistic or something, right? Or not even if he's autistic, if he's just a shy kid, right? And he's seeing his dad for the first time ever. After hearing all this stuff, I mean, guys, do you know how awkward that would be? That would be insanely awkward, right? I mean, it was an awkward scene. You could kind of feel the awkwardness, and I think that's why a lot of people didn't like it. But if you think about what this like, RJ's like 4 years old, 5 years old, right? 6 years old or something in the show. I mean, no, he's older than that, isn't he? How old is RJ? Like 10? I don't even know. He was probably like 4 during season 10 of The Walking Dead. So yeah, he should be like 6 or 7, right? I don't know. I don't know, man. Timeline's all over the place, but we're still here for it. But yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be a little bit awkward, right? Like, Dead City promos made it feel or made it look so cinematic and intense and it felt tame. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like they took all the hyped moments and showed that in the trailer. I don't know. I didn't like Dead City that much. Well, I'm going to rewatch it and try to have more of an open mind. I really wasn't even paying that much attention, guys, to be fair. I'm not going to lie. That's how bored I got. Crooked Chicken, good to see you, my man. Crooked Chicken says, Dead City is its own story and has no effect on anything in the past. Just my opinion, and sadly, a lot of the spin-off stories are forgettable and don't leave any kind of impression. Yeah, I think The Ones Who Live is the best spinoff because of the impression it leaves. After not seeing Rick for that long, having him back, there's memorable moments in The Ones Who Live, I think. Like, for me, one moment that had my heart kind of beating out of my chest, pretty bad. Well, okay, so there's a couple moments that had me hyped up during The Ones Who Live, right? So, first of all, the first episode, just like Rick's narration, like just hearing Rick's voice, you know, I tried to get back to you. I tried, you know, all this stuff. You know, it is a military working for a city of 100,000 or 500,000 or whatever, right? Um, they keep it secrecy, you know, like that whole thing. Just Rick's narration of that episode, right? You know, remember when he tried to like get away under the pipes and he used Esteban to help him, and he put his dog tags on the walker and chopped off its arm. Remember? He's like, remember all that? Like, that was just exciting, you know. That was very exciting when Rick was like narrating the first episode. That was sick. It was like we're catching up with Rick, right? But yeah, I don't know. I think The Ones Who Live was freaking fantastic. Oh yeah, and also just seeing Rick, like, I don't know if you guys had like a nostalgic explosion in your pants like I did whenever I saw Rick in the first episode, whenever right before he cuts off his hand, when he's in the woods with the red lights and stuff, and he's like chopping all the zombies in half and stuff, right? Like that was just so nostalgic for me. I don't know if you guys felt that same level of nostalgia, man, but that was like just seeing him go crazy on those walkers, man. It just took me back to like this, just hearing him, just swinging and you know what I mean? Just like, I don't know. It reminded me of like the OG days, and like I almost cried. I almost cried like a straight little wussy. The Pathogen says, I think they should have stopped the episode in The Ones Who Live when she put the sword to Rick's neck and left it on a cliffhanger. That was in the first episode. Didn't they meet at the very end of the first episode? That's when she uncovered the mask, and then boom, it was him, and then it ended, and they didn't really say anything. And then the second episode, we saw Michonne's perspective. And then at the end of that episode, that's where she got taken by the CRM. And then in episode 3, that's when Rick tried to get her to escape after they went on the mission and stuff like that. Right? Pretty sure. And then they're in the helicopter, and she pulls him out. Then in episode 4, they're in like the condo by the water. All that stuff. I'm pretty sure I got the timeline down. Archive says throwing a fit over the show not going your way is very much a sore loser mindset. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it is. It's just kind of lame. It's kind of like, I get it. Like there's a way to present your argument or a way to present your mindset and your thoughts about something without coming across like a sore loser. Like there's a way to be critical of something without just being this negative Nancy human being that comes across like a little brat that didn't get what they wanted, right? Like you don't have to come across like I'm trying not to like swear, but you don't have to come across like a sore loser, right? You can come across very intelligently and like you're actually just being critical of something and kind of breaking down why you think the way you think and what your perspective is and what you would have done differently and you know what you wish would have happened and all those things. You can talk that whole entire conversation out without ever coming across like a sore loser. 100%. So I mean, people do that and it's just like super negative and comes across like you're just a straight wussy for sure. Crooked Chicken says, as much as I don't care for some of the storytelling lately, I'm going to stick with it because I want to see how it all ends. Crooked Chicken, did you watch Daryl Dixon season 3? Because I thought season 3 was gas. I thought it was fire. I thought the ending was dumb, but the whole season was kind of fire. I kind of liked the storyline in season 3 of Daryl Dixon. I'm not going to lie, I think Daryl Dixon as a whole has been a W. I think Daryl Dixon as a whole has been very watchable. I agree with you, though, Crooked Chicken. I agree with you in terms of the impression that it's leaving, right? Like, are we ever going to sit back someday and be like, oh, man, you guys remember in Daryl Dixon season 2, episode 4? Like, no, right? And that's kind of why The Ones Who Live, I think, left a way stronger impression is because, like, you guys remember the Carl flashback? For example, another scene that really touched me on an emotional level that low-key got me teary-eyed. I'm going to be honest, I don't cry very, very easily. I'm not really I'm not a bitch with certain stuff, okay? I don't cry very easily. I've been through a lot in my life as well. I'm a tough guy, okay? Look, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Um, Whenever in episode 4, when Rick and Michonne were laying in bed and she was trying to like bring him back and snap him out of this like freaking CRM super soldier trance he was in, okay? And she pulled out the phone with the drawing of Carl on it and all that stuff. And when Rick said like he lost Carl again and stuff and he would meet up with Carl in his dreams, that stuff's all relatable for me because I've met up with people in my dreams as well, okay? I've met up with people that I've loved that have died in my dreams, for sure. It's happened. And that related with me and connected with me on a personal, emotional level. It definitely brought some tears to my eyes. So that was very, that left a very strong impression on me. Very memorable moment in The Walking Dead for me. I think probably if I had to make like a top 10 most beautiful Walking Dead moments, that scene with Rick and Michonne would be in there because that she like brought him back. Like just her love and just her tenacity and her ability to just love him and bring him out of that freaking weird mindset he was in. That was such a beautiful moment. And then obviously the touch with Carl, right? Like just having Carl, it's kind of like the cherry on top, right? Having Carl come back for that moment, right? In that time where it shows Rick and him walking and it showed, him putting the hat on him or whatever in what was that, season 8? Just those flashback scenes with Carl in that episode were just beautiful, man. It was really touching, very emotional, very sad. And yeah, I mean, that was a great episode. So very, very easily relatable for me as well. It definitely made me feel something. The Pathogen says, it's a child actor. What do you expect, though? Not many are great. Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying, too. I mean, I think RJ's a decent child actor. He's not horrifying. But at the same time, I mean, maybe his, like, inability to truly act was actually something that made the scene seem more realistic due to the fact that, I mean, it's kind of supposed to be a little awkward. You're kind of seeing your dad for the first time in your life, right? It's going to be awkward. Andrew Lincoln did a good job in that scene. He's just such a great actor. Is Andrew Lincoln like the greatest actor of all time? I mean, holy smokes, man. What a great scene. I'm trying to catch up on some of these comments. Conlord says, do you think there will be a season 12? How do you think everything will connect eventually? So I've heard there's like legal issues with making The Walking Dead season 12. I don't know how true that is, but I have heard about the lawsuit and I don't really want to talk about that because talking about stuff like that can get you in trouble with AMC because I know you guys might think, oh, this little YouTube channel, they watch everything, guys. I've already gotten emailed from AMC before to take a video down, okay? Because I spoiled something that shouldn't have been spoiled. That's what led everyone to believe I had inside information. And maybe I do. No, I'm just kidding. No, I truly believe wholeheartedly that there will not be a walk. Well, I don't know. I don't know about this lawsuit and these issues. I would like to see The Walking Dead come back at this point. I just would. I don't think it's going to happen, but I would like to see it. I would love to see. I just want to hear the theme song again. I want to hear the OG theme song again, loading up. Imagine because my thing is, I'm sitting here right now and I'm kind of thinking, sometimes bringing it back, rejuvenated, with passion, sometimes that completely reinvigorates a fan base. Imagine if they dropped out of nowhere. Imagine Daryl Dixon ends, right? Dead City ends, whatever. Everyone's reunited. And then next thing you know, during a Comic-Con, we get a Walking Dead Season 12 announcement trailer. I mean, can you guys imagine how just badass that would be? It would be so sick to just show like Rick's boots and Daryl and everyone just loading up, get ready to fight again, right? Wouldn't that just be awesome? Just imagine Andrew Lincoln's voice, like, we've been through it all, but the fight's not over. And it just shows him like grabbing his python and smacking the bullets in, right? Like, and then the freaking Daryl grabs his crossbow, pulls it back, starts shooting a zombie. There's like smoke and stuff everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't that just be awesome? And Rick's like, I don't know, the larger world was something that we never thought would happen, or I don't know, just it's something like that. I don't know. Just it could be something. It could be something like that. I think that would be awesome. Because the Walking Dead name has so much aura and has so much weight to it. In that theme song, bro. Like imagine hearing that theme song, even the announcement trailer. If they do bring it back, they'd have to do the announcement trailer with the Walking Dead original theme song. I mean, like I want to hear that again. You know? Sorry to yell. I want to hear it again. But it would be aura, bro. It'd be plus a million aura if that happened. It would be so badass. And like I would love to see a Walking Dead season 12, but do I actually think it's gonna happen? No. I think they're gonna come out with some show called like The Walking Dead Legacy or like The Walking Dead Reborn or like The Walking probably not Reborn. That's a horrible name. Never mind. Scratch that. Scratch that. Edit that out, bro. The Walking Dead A New Beginning, or I don't know. They're gonna do something like that. It's not gonna be probably The Walking Dead, but I wish so bad that it could be The Walking Dead. Because my thing is, like, I don't understand the whole rights thing with the lawsuit. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to get in trouble. But I don't know what's going on with it, but we'll see what happens. Archive says, yeah, RJ has never met Rick. He's always been essentially a fairy tale character. Exactly, like the brave man, right? His mom and sister have been telling him about, so I get there's no cemented emotional connection to go off of. Yeah, there's not. It's so awkward. Imagine that. Imagine meeting your dad after all these years. This is like the guy, like you came from his nuts, you know? Like this is your father. And like, you know what I mean? You're just like, holy crap, I'm freaking meeting the brave man that everyone's talked about, that led the walkers to the bridge and blew up the bridge, you know? That's I mean, of course there's going to be some awkward dialogue. And I mean, when you're like a little kid like that, like that's something a little kid would say, right? Like, oh, I knew you'd come back. How? Because I believe. Like, little kids believe in Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy, for F's sake, right? I mean, it's not that unbelievable, right? Crooked Chicken says, The Ones Who Live is definitely the exception. It is. The Ones Who Live was, it was fantastic. Archive says, Rick going crazy in any kind of jacket with a hatchet or machete in his hand will always bring back nostalgia and chills, pure bad A energy. Yeah, I mean, I just want more, bro. Like, that's the thing. Like, I sit here, you know, I'm 25 years old. I want to see more Rick Grimes, and I'm really hoping that this meeting that we're seeing, this picture you guys are seeing right now on your screen of Andrew Lincoln and Rick Grimes. Now, remember, guys, this picture was just from the other day. They were meeting, and they had a dinner, a private dinner, I heard, and they talked. Now, it's obviously Gimple probably saying, hey, we need you to come back. We want you to come back. We need this to happen, right? Now, I just hope, I hope Andrew's not done. I hope you guys understand. This 1,000,000% ultimately comes down to whether or not Andrew Lincoln is done playing the character, at least on the level that a lot of fans want him to still play the character as, right? Like, we want to see Rick back full time. We don't want The Ones Who Live. We don't want 6 episodes of Rick every 2 years. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. Would it be better than nothing? I guess. Why not? But if you guys had to pick, we would all want Rick back yearly for 16 episodes or 12 episodes. They could still do 12 episodes. I know, so I heard some people saying they can't do 16 episodes. I disagree. I think they can do 16 episodes because the fan base is strong enough to where it would work. If The Ones Who Live was 16 episodes, people would have watched it all. Dude, I know the ratings for The Ones Who Live on AMC Plus. I know the numbers they pulled because of things that I know, okay? And let me tell you guys something. The Ones Who Live did just insane numbers on AMC Plus. It broke all the records on AMC Plus. And it brought, you guys want to know, I'll tell you. I've mentioned this a couple times, but I don't like to talk about it a lot because I don't want to get another email. But The Ones Who Live brought in numbers, the same numbers as what the show was doing back in season 6 and season 7. And it's actually even done more numbers now because of the streaming platform, because there's more people going on and watching it. Because isn't The Ones Who Live on Netflix? Yeah, it was. Do you guys know The Ones Who Live was like #1 in the U.S. for like 2 weeks straight, or #1 or #2 for like 2 weeks straight on Netflix in the U.S.? It's a very popular show. The numbers overall, the amount of people that have watched The Ones Who Live is astonishing. It's way more than what people think. You cannot look at these live, like, and I try to tell these unintelligent, trolly morons in my chat sometimes, or these stupid people that say The Walking Dead is dead. It only gets 500,000 viewers an episode in the US. Bro, nobody watches live TV anymore. Nobody. Nobody watches live cable TV. It's boring. Commercials suck. There's so many avoidable things and avoidable ways that you can get rid of that and not have to deal with all that nonsense. Nobody has cable. Nobody watches this. This isn't the Dish Network era. We're not in the DirecTV Dish Network era, man. Okay? We are in the streaming era. It's all about streaming now. You can buy these episodes on YouTube, Amazon, and you can watch them on AMC Plus, right? And you can watch it live on AMC with commercials. Who the hell wants to do that? So I don't know. People just lose their minds and think they know everything when they don't. And I can tell you guys right now, The Ones Who Live did crazy numbers initially on AMC Plus. I'm not saying that right now, like, okay, so if I tell you what was The Walking Dead season 7 average viewer or live viewer in the United States, probably what, 9, 10, 11 million, probably 9 to 11 million, we could say. Okay, I'm not saying that right now 11 million people have seen The Ones Who Live. It's been way freaking more than 11 million people. Guys, it did that the first time it dropped. It was doing that per episode just in the US when it came out. You understand what I'm saying? Are you guys following me? So, like, people have to get that out of their mind that people don't care about these shows. They do. Whether you like it or not, it doesn't matter. Your little opinion means nothing when it comes to making a show that there's still tens of millions of people around the world that love to watch, right? It means nothing. So, like, I try to tell people that The Walking Dead is still really popular. It's not as popular as it once was, and I know that for a fact. The data would prove it's not as popular as it once was. But to try to act like it's not popular enough for them to bring back the original series, or it's not popular enough for them to make a brand new show with everyone back together, which is practically like a part 2 of the original series, 16 episode format on AMC Plus, couple seasons, 3 to 5, and it wouldn't. You mean to tell me that wouldn't do 10 million an episode? You're wrong. I hate to break it to you, because all the spinoffs did that essentially, except Dead City. Dead City wasn't doing numbers like that. I hate to break it to people, but that wasn't doing it. Daryl Dixon, Crooked Chicken says Daryl Dixon season 3 was definitely better than season 2 for sure. I agree. Crooked Chicken also says the Carl flashbacks were amazing, and I actually met Chandler and told him I wish he would have had a cameo, but he said he never got a call. Oof. Man. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Why? I wonder why. I think it would have been so sick. But then again, would it really make sense to have an actual cameo of Carl? I mean, you want to know why? Because Chandler Riggs grown up a lot. If it's like John Bernthal with Shane, right? He's had multiple cameos because he was already a grown man. They kind of make him look similar. And it doesn't really matter. It's not like he was growing, right? Like growing up in The Walking Dead. He was already a grown man in The Walking Dead. And Shane, what a great character. Archive says, I loved the parts in The Ones Who Live where Rick goes crazy on the soldier, plus has the general in the box, and we see Michonne's reaction. Like, you see the old Rick is still in him and still capable of being savage. Yeah, I mean, those moments and scenes where, I mean, Rick was like, are you talking about the moment where he was like punching the soldier's face in with his metal hand? That was insane. Or are you talking about the scene with Rick and Okafor where he's like yelling in Okafor's face? That was a great scene too. Rick still got that crazy aura, bro. If that happened at Comic-Con, crowd waiting for the panel to start, but before any cast comes out, all you hear is music and the trailer starts out with Rick voice. Yeah. I mean, it would be ridiculously insane, honestly. Bring back season with 24 episodes. I don't care if that's selfish. I hate that this limited series crap these days. The Ones Who Live were shown as badass duo was dope. Now, if they can get Daryl back in the mix, even better because those three are my peak trio, and any reunion I need there to be a scene with them three kicking ass together. Yeah, no, I agree. I think 24 would be a little bit crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Um, I think 24 episodes would probably be too much for a season, but I think 16 is perfect. I think the format they had, 8 and 8, perfect. Don't change it. Don't change it. 8 and 8 is perfect. People are, there's a lot of conversation about that. I don't know if you guys are familiar with a YouTuber named Movie Idol, but he's like probably my all-time favorite YouTuber. And I love Movie Idol a lot, actually. And I was really trying to get him to do a series with me on my channel because, like, me and him are like, pretty much. I mean, I don't know other Walking Dead YouTubers that really try to consistently cover the show. Um, like, I know there's some YouTubers like George Drake, that make these like theoretical videos, and I mean that's great and that's awesome for what it is. But in terms of just like news updates and following the show, me and Movie Idol, I think, are currently like, I'm sure there's other channels, but I've never seen them. I know there's some people that cover it, but yeah, me and Movie Idol are pretty consistent, man, and I love that guy. He's a really cool dude, actually, and I've really been trying to get him to like do a series with me on my channel, man. Like, I've really wanted to always do something with Movie Idol because I think me and him could have really great conversations. And, like, I can really tell that the show means a lot to him just like it means a lot to me, Like, me and him are very similar with what, like how much The Walking Dead means to us. And I would love to do, like, a weekly podcast with him. I think it'd be so fun. Just, like, an hour long, going live together, talking about the shows, doing like a Q&A together. I think it'd be sick. You know what I mean? And I really would love to, maybe eventually if I get a little bit bigger, a little more popular, maybe he would be down. I hope so, because that guy's sick. What a great YouTuber and what a great guy. Excuse me. Yes, all the scenes in The Ones Who Live where you see signs of old Rick coming to the surface are so good. All of his emotional scenes are peak. This man has been robbed of so many Emmys. It's crazy. Yeah, no. Andrew Lincoln's one of the greatest actors I've ever seen. Man, that's for real. He is. I mean, how is he not, right? Like, how could you watch that and not say that? He's peak. Whatever happens next, I just hope we get a story that really brings us back to the old days of The Walking Dead. And it would be really cool to have like a different vibe. You remember in The Walking Dead season 11, how we kind of they switched to digital cameras, and it kind of almost had like certain episodes had like a blue filter, like a blue tone to it. You guys know what I'm talking about? I thought that was awesome. I would love to see that with Rick. Unless, maybe fans want to bring back the grain, the film. Or, you could do like digital with a filter, a grainy filter. But, I don't know. That stuff doesn't matter that much to me. But I was just, thinking. I would love to see whatever they do next. I would love to just have it be something that we can actually compare to the old days and say there's similarities, and it was just a great continuation, and they can still tell good stories. I mean, I thought the Daryl and Leah story was really cool. I think like fans hate a lot sometimes. People hate, I think a lot, but the thing is a lot of fans enjoyed it because that's the thing. Not everyone gets online and tells you how they feel, man. A lot of people either keep watching or they don't. And based on the data that I saw or that I heard, I mean, AMC Plus is doing fantastic. AMC Plus is, I'm pretty sure they're at like around 20 million or 25 million monthly subscribers right now. Pretty sure. At least that was their trajectory. So, obviously, most people that are watching AMC Plus, most people on AMC Plus are watching Walking Dead. So, hey. Crooked Chicken says, Okafor's confession scene is one of my favorites. The reveal of the bombings of LA and Atlanta was mind-blowing, callback and connecting it all. Yeah, yeah. It's kind of crazy when you think about it from that perspective. When you think about, like, the fact that he was there at the start, like Shane and Lori watched that happen, right? To my knowledge, isn't that correct? You guys remember when Shane and Lori, that was such a great scene. That was such a holy SH moment. Man, I tell you what, if you guys ever go back and rewatch season 2 of The Walking Dead, that flashback scene with Shane and Lori, when Shane's like, they're dropping napalm in the streets, man. You guys remember that? That shit was insane. That was such a holy shit moment. Archive says, I just want to see how Rick would handle variants. Everyone always waited for seasons to see it, but he was gone too soon for that full evolution. Yeah, I would like to see Rick fight some running zombies. That'd be sick. But then again, I kind of wonder if that's the direction they're heading from, like, not like a rebranding, but like a rebirthing of the franchise. Like, if they do this, like, Walking Dead legacy idea, I've talked about it. You guys go check out my recent videos. I've talked about it multiple times. I've been theorizing a lot about what The Walking Dead would look like in a 16-episode format with Rick Grimes coming back at the forefront. And, like, I wonder if that's part of the plan, because what if Gimp was like, we need an element of shock that we've never seen before due to the fact that we already had 177 episodes where the walkers are kind of just slow and not really moving that much. And, with some of the variant walkers they had at the Commonwealth, what if the next step in that evolution is like runners, right? And climbers and all that stuff. They already had climbers, but like athletic zombies, like Dying Light or The Last of Us type of zombies, right? Or infected or whatever you want to call them. Like, I think that would be interesting. Would you guys like to see that, or do you want the nostalgia of the old walkers? Or what if they did like a hybrid where they brought, they made a new show or continued The Walking Dead season 12 or whatever, and it was slow zombies at first, and then over the next like 2 seasons, it evolved into the fast runners again. Or not again, but the fast runners. Rick is too bad A for slow, lazy walkers. He needs and deserves a challenge, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, so here's the thing, and I'm going to end on this, because I've been live for a long time, almost 100 minutes. It's been really fun, talking and chatting with you guys. But I got to get up and go make some lunch and everything like that. I got some stuff I need to do today as well. So I want to end on this. This is going to be the final topic we address, okay? The big question that I have, and I've mentioned this 100 times, but I'm going to mention it 101. And that is, are they going to bring it back as an evolution, like an evolutionary rebirthing or rebranding with the same characters, or is it truly going to be a continuation, right? That's the question I have. Because if it's truly a continuation, which I would not be against, I would not be against a true continuation of The Walking Dead, the way we knew it, the way we grew to love it, with the same characters, like the next chapter in their journey. I would not be against that, because I think there's still a lot of good storytelling there that can happen. I think there's still just a lot of really awesome moments that can happen. But my thing is, the reason why that would be difficult is because if you think about it and look at it, is it just going to be them going from place to place surviving again like it was in the original series? How can they differentiate it? Because there's a lot of things that have already happened in the show where if they did it again, fans might complain. Well, we've already seen this. We've already had this happen. Like, for example, they can't really go to a prison or a farm or a big community, right? And just survive and deal with the interior drama that comes with that, right? The connected drama that comes with that. They can't really do that stuff anymore, or can they, right? Like, because I would not mind it, but other people might. So that's the question. What's the next story of The Walking Dead going to be with Rick if everybody gets back together after the reunions happen? Because here's the thing. The reunions are either the ending or the beginning. That's it. It's that simple. I mean, it's either the ending or it's the beginning of something else. And I think it's going to be the beginning of something else, but what's that going to be? Because they've already done so much, right? Can they really have crazy people, just like a crazy group that's attacking them and fighting them and stuff? In scenes where, like, Rick's talking to the leader and stuff. Like, we've already had all that. So that's the question. That's the confusion on my part when I sit here and I think, well, we've already had so many villains. We've already had so many moments where, Rick was sitting there face to face with the leader of another group. What is going to happen? What's going to happen? Are there going to be invaders? Are there going to be people trying to take what they have? Which we've already seen that with the wolves. Remember when the wolves were trying to climb over the walls and kill everybody? Like, we've already seen pretty much everything almost, right? So it's a confusing element. It's a confusing aspect of what the future of The Walking Dead is going to look like. Because I'm not sure, although I would be fine with those things happening, I would be fine with them doing everything they already did again. Because I just love the characters. And I believe most fans would as well, because I think in the end, the main reason that all the fans still love The Walking Dead is the core group, that core connection. Rick, Daryl, Maggie, Negan, Carol, Michonne. With those people, you can have a wonderful show of surviving, fighting new enemies, right? There's a ton of stuff you can do with that. There's a ton of stuff you can do. So, like, I try to tell people that, and some people disagree with me, and that's fine if you do. But I don't know and that's the thing that is making me lose my freaking mind when I make these type of videos or when I talk about this on a stream or whatever it is. I'm sitting here and I'm like, what is going to happen? Because what's the next story going to be? Is it the end or is it the beginning? And that's actually such an interesting point, right? Is it the end or is it the beginning? Because, like, no one really knows. Obviously, there's been indications that it's going to be the beginning. Scott Gimple has mentioned multiple times that The Walking Dead's going to continue until 2040 and even beyond. It's only 2025, Andrew Lincoln said it'd be great to see characters survive again together. He seems open to it. I would like to hear it from the horse's mouth, from Gimple's mouth himself, about what's going on, what's happening. I'm extremely curious as to what that next chapter is going to be in the Walking Dead universe post-reunion phase. We're still in the reunion phase. We need these characters to reunite. But I'm so curious. It's making me have this itch that just won't be scratched until we actually know what's going on, right? Because I'm sitting here like, okay, you got all these spinoffs that have to conclude. You got all these different shows and different stuff. And, like, it's going to be hard, yeah, for sure. Like, it's going to be hard to come up with something original. It's going to be hard to come up with something that is completely never been done before. And there's going to be elements of, like, rinse and repeating, obviously, because it's the world that we live in and it's just the way it is. There's going to be some elements of, like, rinse and repeating, which I'm not completely against with the core group together. It still could be peak. I mean, if you think about it, pretty much every show is rinse and repeating in some way. Like, every show is rinse and repeating. I mean, if you look at all these shows like Lucifer and The Walking Dead, this, that, it's practically the same thing, a lot of the time. Just rinse and repeating. It doesn't mean it's bad, repetitive is not always a bad thing, I don't think, But it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, we're going to have to get really creative here, think outside the box, and create a storyline for these characters that's going to grab people's attention and make them not want to leave. Because I believe whatever they come back and do, they're going to want to do for multiple seasons. At least 3, 2, maybe 4 or 5. I don't know. But it's something that is just like, I don't want it to end. I don't want The Walking Dead to end. I don't want to stop making videos. I love making videos. I love doing these streams with you guys. It's so fun, man. I have a blast sitting in here talking about this. And that's like, where I come from, right? Like I don't want it to end because I still love it so much, and I still feel like I'm young. I'm only 25. I still have a lot of passion for this, you know. Um, like my father, for example, he got into The Walking Dead. You know, he was in his 30s when The Walking Dead was out. Pretty sure his mid 30s, and you know he loved it, and he got really into it, and he had a blast with it. And you know, I could keep this going for a long time. I could be just as passionate now, you know, 20 years from now. You know what I mean? So it's like we'll have to wait and see. But I agree, Archive, for sure. It'll be a challenge to come up with something original. It's going to be difficult, but it's not impossible. It could definitely happen. We'll have to wait and see, man. But yeah, been streaming for about 105 minutes. So yeah, it's been a long stream. It's been fun. And guys, check out my most recent video if you haven't. Kind of just theorizing a little bit about Rick, about what's happening. You know, mentioning this photo here. So yeah, guys. I think I'm gonna end it there. If there's anything that you guys want to ask me really quickly. Oh, I wanted to say too, I really, really, really want to get back into doing Q&As. Like really, really bad. So if you guys have any Q&A questions, I do have a lot of Q&A questions from old videos that I never answered because I just stopped doing Q&As because I got caught up with life. And then there was like some news that broke and stuff, right? And I would cover it, whatever. But I want to get back into doing Q&As every single week because a lot of the people that watch my videos have so many great questions and so many great theories that they want to know what I think about, or what I think about it and stuff like that. There's a lot of really awesome theories and a lot of really cool points and just some really cool stuff. And I love to hear what you guys think. I love being interactive with you guys. So, I want you guys to, you know, send me your Q&A questions. Either go drop comments, whatever it is. But I'm going to be probably making a Q&A video today. You know what? I think I'm going to make it right now. I think I'm going to end the stream and go make a Q&A video to try to jumpstart that again. And maybe we'll do like Q&A Wednesdays, like for hump day of the week, right? We'll do, because I typically don't upload or stream on the weekends. There's 3 days a week I don't stream. It's typically, or updating or uploading videos or anything like that ever. That's like Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I typically never do anything. Pretty much, you know, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is when I upload or stream. So like I want to start doing, you know, Q&As for like middle of the week, middle of the upload week type of deal, right? Either Wednesdays or Thursdays. Might do Thursdays. But yeah, I just want to let you guys know I'm going to be doing Q&As again. So if you guys want to be active on the Q&A, just don't be afraid to just drop the Q&A question down below. And I'm going to start doing Q&As every single week again because, man, those were my favorite videos to make. I love doing Q&As. And yeah, we're going to knock it out of the ballpark. So I actually think I'm going to go record the Q&A right now. If anybody in here, if you're listening, if you have any Q&A questions that you want me to answer in the Q&A video that I'm about to go record, now would be the best time to drop it in the comments real quick on the live so that I can take a screenshot of it and just kind of like chart it down and put it in the video. But yeah, I'm going to give it like another minute or two for, you know, anybody to join or say anything. If you guys have any questions, you know, that you want me to answer in the Q&A video, let me know. But I am getting back to weekly Q&As because especially during the dry season of The Walking Dead, it's really important to like do those Q&As to keep people engaged, to stay involved with your community and connect with your community. And that's what I'm trying to do, man. You know, we're over 1,750 strong. You know, I want to be really involved with you guys. I want to stay engaged, man. So we're doing weekly Q&As. So anybody has any questions, drop them now or hold your peace until next week. I'm going to give it till 1:10, and then we are calling it, guys. You got about 50 seconds, 50 seconds to type a comment down below if you have a Q&A question. If not, it's okay. I'll see you guys there. I got plenty of questions from old videos. But I love you guys. Thank you so much for chilling out with me. It's been a blast as always. Everyone that drops likes, shares, supports. Don't forget channel memberships are live, guys. It's $4.99 a month. It really would help a lot. You know, it really would help me a lot if you guys would consider joining that for only $4.99 a month. You get exclusive live streams, exclusive videos, custom badges for yourself by your name when you leave comments, showing that you're one of my biggest supporters. Also, just, you know, priority commenting and everything like that. It's really cool features. Also, custom wallpapers made by me. They're pretty cool. So yeah, for your phone, if you guys would be interested in that, they're really fun. And just, yeah, appreciate you guys. I love you all. Thanks for joining me on the journey of life. I'll see you in the next one. Make sure you stay safe out there in the crazy world, man. Love you guys. Peace out.